Welcome to week 2 of summer school, where we cover 5 questions a week. And just to give you an idea of what the cram course might be like, and just give you also some information that would be helpful in passing your state licensing exam. Now, keep in mind, this is more of a general insurance type of question and answer format that we're covering. So whether you're preparing for your property and casualty, your life and health, or your accident and health only, or life only, then these questions are applicable to that. So let's get started here. This is week 2. Remember, this is for educational purposes only. Anything specific to your state or just specific to your situation, you always want to seek the advice of a licensed agent in your state, So let's go forwards here. So let's talk about this question number 6. Any dispute in the policies to the coverage will usually be resolved in favor of the insured. This is known as contract of adhesion. Now, remember, this is one of the characteristics of the insurance contract. The insurance contract is said to be aleatory, and aleatory is not the correct answer because if you remember, or maybe you've taken other classes with us, aleatory, the way we tell you to remember is the nature of the insurance contract is that it is an aleatory contract, meaning that there is an unequal exchange for value and the execution of the contract is based on some uncertain future event that may or may not happen. That's what makes the event, right? It's uncertain, it's based on that uncertain event. Now, contracts of adhesion are take it or leave it contracts. And generally they are written by one party. In the insurance contract, the party that writes the policy or the contract itself is the insurance company. So of course the insurance company, it's kind of like in their advantage, right? That they're writing the policy. So the insured or the policy owner, right, the person who's purchasing the policy, they don't have a say in the writing of the contract itself. So if there's any confusion or ambiguity in the contract and it goes to court, the court systems have a tendency to favor the insured because they had nothing to do with the writing of the contract. Now, remember that each insurance company is regulated at a state level and a federal level. And so this question has to do with the domicile of the insurance company, meaning where's the company organized? And the company can be defined as either foreign, domestic, or alien based on when they're originated. And remember, the perspective of whether a company is domestic, foreign, or alien has to do with where you're located, right? So let's say, for example, I mean, obviously we're in California. So here we are in California. And more specifically, I'm in the Bay Area here. So we're in California. And insured organized in the state of California, we would call them domestic. Their domicile is California. They're organized here. They're domestic. An example of that would be like Farmers Insurance is a domestic insurer. Now, an insurance company that's organized outside of the state, we would call them foreign. So if they're organized outside of the state, for example, in the state of Nevada, then they would be a foreign insurer. And if they're organized outside of the country, right, then that would be alien insurer. And of course, an insurance company can be domestic, foreign, or alien, and whether or not admitted. When a company is said to be admitted, see, these two answers are not the answer. Whether a company is admitted or non-admitted, an admitted company is a company that's basically approved and authorized to transact insurance in the state. They've met all of the state requirements, so they have the authority to transact in that state. A non-admitted insurer means that maybe they didn't meet the requirements, they didn't file to be an admitted carrier in that state, so they don't have the authority. In California, when the insurance company is admitted, they are given what's called a certificate of authority, which is the insurance company's license to transact in this specific state. So the answer for this question is foreign, right? In California, right? Everything's regulated. Our perspective is from California and doing business and organized in Nevada. So that would make them foreign. And here's any dispute in the contract. I think this is a repeat. It is a repeat. And you know what? In the state of California, they give you repeat questions. So any dispute in the policy as to the coverage will usually be resolved in favor of the insured. What is this known as? I'll give you a moment to answer it on your own. And here we go. Yes, it's a contract of adhesion. And, you know, repetition is the mother of all learning. So the fact that we saw these 2 questions twice, okay, you're only getting 4 this week. So my apologies. Maybe I'll add 1 next week. Now, which of the following is defined as mandatory? If you see mandatory, I want you to think of the 10 commandments, right? Thou shalt not. So that would be shall. So if you see mandatory, it is shall, thou shalt not. So anytime in the code, right, the rules of in the code or in the law of insurance, in California, we have the California Insurance Code, and then we also have the rules and regulations, which is through the administrative code, right? In the California Insurance Code, they will use the word shall and may. So this question can appear two different ways on the exam with just a one-word difference. So this particular question is asking mandatory, right? If the following is defined as mandatory in the California Insurance Code, yes, it's shall, right? Mandatory, thou shalt not. Think of the 10 commandments. However, if you see the word permissive, if we substitute mandatory for permissive, then I want you to think of permission. I'm asking for permission. And then if some of you who might be able to relate to this, there was a game called Mother May I, right? You're asking for permission. So if you see permissive, you're going to look for may. So again, you'll see this question and there's two versions or there's two variations of this, either mandatory or permissive. So make sure you notice the distinction. If you see permissive, what do you look for? May. If you see mandatory, what do you look for? You look for shall. And the department responsible for the selection, classification, the rating of the risk, who are they? Remember, the classification, the selection, the rating of the risk, the evaluation of the risk, all of that is important to this particular department. And the job of this department, I'm going to add another keyword to this, the job of this department is to protect the insurer against adverse selection. So I'm sure you may have heard that in your training while you were preparing for this exam. Protect the insurer against adverse selection. Well, what does that mean, right? Protect the insurer against adverse selection. That means a selection of poor risk, of high risk, of bad risk, right? The insurance company in this particular department, I hope you have that you're figuring out what the correct answer is. This particular department is responsible for ensuring that there's a large risk pool of good risk versus a small risk pool of bad risk. I mean, you're going to get bad risk in the pool, right? However, this department, it's their job to ensure that they're evaluating and assessing the risk to ensure that they're going to have a good risk pool and that they're less inclined to suffer a loss or file a claim. So this department is called the underwriting department. Well, that's the completion of our 5 questions for this week. So I invite you to stay in touch, subscribe to our channel, join us for our monthly study hall in our live virtual classroom. You can sign up at any time for that class. And it's a 2-week program, so check it out and check us out at quicklearningschool.com. And there's also a registration link below if you're interested in signing up for that class. We look forward to seeing you soon. And if you have any questions, please ask questions in the comments below. That way everyone can benefit from your question. All right. Anyways, best wishes and have a great summer.